Antes de assistir, deixe seu like, inscreva-se no canal e ative o sino para receber os nossos vídeos. Muito obrigado.
I dreamt of becoming a footballer. I made it later than most, but was never lacking in desire. I seized what I deserved.
Angelo Di Livio, nicknamed Little Soldier, was the fighting spirit at the heart of a Juventus team that, under coach Marcello Lippi, conquered Europe as well as Italy back in the 90s.
Not everyone is cut out to wear that jersey. Not everyone can play for such an ambitious club. You need to be a model professional to play for Juventus. Any less, and they get rid of you pretty quickly.
Di Livio was also a model pro at Fiorentina, a stalwart captain who helped the team bounce back from Serie C to Serie A after they'd gone bankrupt.
Fiorentina's rebirth is something I'm immensely proud of, because I played a key part in it. It was one of football's fairy tales.
The little soldier's big heart might be divided on Sunday when these two meet in Florence, and his excitement will be matched in the stands and on the pitch. This encounter has traditionally been a highly charged affair.
That was the game for me. When you got to the stadium, you'd be buzzing, full of adrenaline, because of the Fiorentina fans who would get there 2 hours before the game. The stands would be packed to the rafters. They could be very hostile because of the special nature of the game. It really psyched you up, because we all knew we had to give everything we had in that game. Otherwise, we'd get thrashed.
In 1990, the sale of a young Roberto Baggio from Fiorentina to Juventus caused a popular uprising in Florence.
I understand how the Fiorentina fans must have felt to see their star player leave.
When Il Divin Codino returned for the first time, he refused to take a penalty against his old team and picked up a scarf thrown to him by Viola fans. Nobody called him a traitor then.
Fiorentina fans would have loved to see Baggio stay at the club his entire career, but when a top club sets their sights on you, they're going to sign you no matter what.
Last season, Juventus signed another creative number 10 from Fiorentina, Federico Bernardeschi. He showed no regret in scoring against the club in whose ranks he'd risen to prominence. So many ties that bind the teams, so many resentments to tear them apart. This time, the Viola fans will hope Federico Chiesa has inherited his father's ability to hurt the Bianconeri. Enrico struck 2 against Juve in 2001, with a little help from Di Livio.
Chiesa with a free kick. It's all the way through. Di Livio pushed the wall aside.
He's a chip off the old block. The exact same posture, the same running style, and most of all, the same way of striking the ball. He's identical. He's 21. There are very few his age with such talent. He's one of the hottest prospects in Europe. The playing field for these encounters is leveled at the Franchi because the fans really give you that extra strength, despite the technical difference there might be between the teams. The Fiorentina players get that X factor because they want to repay the fans. The Juve players know it well. They know Florence is a hostile trip, but the fans make the game even harder.
But violet is in his veins. The traditions and history of Fiorentina hold a place in Stefano Pioli's heart. He realised he wanted to claim for the club in a 6-year spell that spanned the late 80s to the mid-90s.
I started to develop a passion for coaching in my final years as a player here at Fiorentina. Claudio Ranieri was my coach back then. I observed him closely, starting to try and understand why he made certain decisions, how he got his message across, and tried to motivate us. I started to become interested in all of this and wanted to try my hand at coaching once I retired from playing. It's a brilliant job.
Pioli started coaching in his early 30s. By the time he returned to Fiorentina last season, he'd overseen more than 200 matches in Serie A.
I would describe myself as a modern coach. I like my teams to play an attacking brand of football and for my players to go out and express themselves. I'm not tied down to playing systems, 4-3-3 or 3-5-2 and so on, because it's not the formation that makes the difference. What I try to do is get the best out of the players I have. Above all, I try to give them ideas, an identity, how I want us to attack, and naturally how I want us to defend when our opponents are in possession.
Formation set the tone, but Pioli values the intelligence, speed of thought and versatility of his players. With a certain freedom comes that dash of creative magic.
I've been very lucky to have coached some players with a brilliant football brain. If I had to name two, I would say Milan Badel, who was always one step ahead of the rest. Miroslav Klose, meanwhile, was one of the smartest players I've ever coached. He always chose the right option out on the pitch.
From Miroslav Klose to another great forward, Gabriel Batistuta. The Argentine striker played for both Fiorentina and Roma during his career and was idolized in Florence, revered in Rome. But the Tuscans may, whisper it quietly, have found the heir to Batigol.
Batistuta was brilliant for both Fiorentina and Roma. He was an exceptional player, world class. I was lucky enough to be his teammate here in Florence. He was so strong, so driven. It was incredible. We have Giovanni Simeone in our ranks today. He may not be as physical because Batistuta was such a strong player, but he is similar when it comes to the determination and desire. He has the potential to reach the levels of Batistuta.
Despite Simeone Jr.'s promise, Fiorentina have won just 2 of their last 6 league matches. They're level on points with visiting Roma, who came out on top in a 6-goal thriller at the Artemio Franchi last season. Pioli is seeking revenge.
It was a fantastic match. It ended 2-2 at half-time, but we were unlucky not to go into the break ahead after Chiesa hit the post. We made a few basic errors, though, which you cannot afford to do against a team like Roma.
El Sharawi, edge area. Gerson's in here. That's his first goal for Roma.
My first season was important and really useful. There have been a lot of changes in terms of the playing squad, but our playing style is the same. Last year was a thrilling match, and seeing how the two teams played, this could also be a brilliant game.
Blip over. Juventus have re-established their 6-point lead at the top and will be delighted to welcome Cagliari to the Allianz Stadium. The champions have won 12 of the last 15 meetings and drew the other 3. Massimiliano Allegri will counsel against complacency though, recalling that moment of lost concentration at home to Genoa.
Juventus responded well after that disappointing against United midweek, obviously, to put in this sort of performance.
Yeah, a game they were in control of, and then obviously there was the Matuidi challenge in the edge of the box and the Szczesny mistake. Obviously for Milan, getting off to such a bad start, it was always going to be an uphill battle, but in all fairness to them, whilst they haven't got the quality of Juventus, they hung in there. Yeah. They hung in there until that Ronaldo goal, so they were always in the game. And then, of course, Higuain, who was sent off, but we were saying before he was sent off, never seen him making as many runs, but he was really ramped up.
Yeah, you could see it.
I think it's great we're giving AC Milan credit for hanging in there, but that's really all they did. You know, Juventus to me always looked as though they had another gear. They almost let them back in with that penalty.
Yeah.
But Milan didn't take advantage of it, and from there really there was only going to be one winner, and there was.
Gab Marcotti, Juventus getting it done.
Yeah, and I think in some ways we're seeing a slightly different Juventus in Serie A. I thought they focused on controlling the tempo. They're less attacking, less dominating, perhaps than we see in the Champions League. Allegri was asked about this and said, teams attack us more in the Champions League, so there's more space in which to play. Milan just not at the races, and they have so many injuries in key positions. You credit Gattuso for trying something different with Castillejo, Suso, and Çalhanoğlu all on at the same time. But the problem is when you're out there and it just doesn't work because there's no playmaker in midfield, all of a sudden, as the boys are saying, all they can really do is hang in there.
Ela só anda de Ferrari, coisa igual nunca se viu. A bolsa dela da Chanel vale mais de 20 mil. Ela é celebridade, tem jatinho, tem iate, e nos finais de semana curte um funk na boate. O perfume dela é índio, mano, ela só porta grife, e as amiguinhas dela é só gata de elite. Camarote, área VIP, ela fica à vontade, manda descer a champanhe e faz festa de verdade. Ela é celebridade, tem jatinho, tem iate, e desfila de Ferrari. Ela é celebridade, ela adora uma night, ela só vive na vibe e desfila de Ferrari. Ela só anda de Ferrari, coisa igual nunca se viu. A bolsa dela da Chanel vale mais de 20 mil. Ela é celebridade, tem jatinho, tem iate, e nos finais de semana curte um funk na boate. O perfume dela é índio, mano, ela só porta grife, e as amiguinhas dela é só gata de elite. Camarote, área VIP, ela fica à vontade, manda descer a champanhe e faz festa de verdade. Ela é celebridade, tem jatinho, tem iate, e desfila de Ferrari. Ela é celebridade, ela adora uma night, ela só vive na vibe e desfila de Ferrari.